Alright guys, what's up? Sean here. I don't know what you're watching. I will fill the screen with something, but it may be League of Legends, it may be Call of Duty, it may be, I don't know, something else completely different. But I wanted to get this done while I have the house to myself so that I could talk as loud as I want and redo this as many times as I want without interruptions, and only redo it because I want to and not because somebody came in to ask me some dumb question that was very unimportant at the time, and even though they could have heard me talking through the door, they still thought it was okay to open the door and start talking. Because, you know, God forbid if we waited for someone to stop talking before we interrupted them. Yeah, that never happens. So, I'm talking about this today because it's aggravating me, and you people will listen. Or I will force the microphone to listen to me, and then you people may or may not click. Please like the video, because I'm going to keep asking until my videos get back to normal view counts, so please like it. I promise if you guys start doing it, and I will shut up and stop asking. But right now, please like the video. So today, the Supreme Court in the United States, so for those of you who are not in the United States, just listen. I swear to God, it'll make sense and it'll have relevance to all, or sort of. The Supreme Court today heard Proposition 8, which is in California, which basically bans same-sex marriage. So their ruling could be a couple things when it comes to that, and I'll just list a few. One of them is they could rule that it's unconstitutional in California, and therefore take it away from like they can't ban it in California. They could also ban, I think it's in 9 states, they could rule that it's unconstitutional to have marriage banned when you have like civil unions are allowed, because it's basically the same as marriage without the name. So that's another possibility, because there are some states that allow civil unions between same-sex couples, but not marriage, per se. Like, it's literally the same except for the term used, which, I mean, I don't understand. If you're gonna go that far to say that people can be together, why you would still argue that marriage isn't okay, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, what do you care what word is applied to this? And the other possibility would be that the ruling covers the entire country, meaning that, like, you can't do that, which probably isn't going to happen. That's the least likely scenario, and therefore I'm going to say it's completely impossible, basically, unless the judges all get drugged and come up with some new form of thinking. That's not going to happen. And then tomorrow, they're going to be ruling on the Defense of Marriage Act, which basically says that the federal government doesn't have to recognize marriages between same-sex couples, and defines marriage as far as like the benefits that you get for being married as between a man and a woman, and like any other combination of people is not allowed, and they don't have to acknowledge it, and they don't have to give you anything, because like I live in Massachusetts where 2 guys can get married, 2 girls can get married, no problem, but the federal government doesn't have to recognize it, and doesn't recognize it for any sort of benefits. So it basically leaves people hanging, and it's stupid because okay, I'm gonna on with the rant, because I have some things to say, and they make perfect sense in my head, and I think for a lot of people, at least like around my age and a little older, it makes sense in their heads too. It's like, yeah, that's logic. But then you get like to the older people, and some of them are like completely no, and then again there's some who are like, yeah, that sounds about right to me. And then there's the judges who it's like, well, I don't want to make a decision, because I don't have the exact quote in front of me right now, but a lot of them said today, like, we don't know, we shouldn't be hearing this case right now. And it's like, why not? You're not prepared to take the case? Well, then why'd you take the case? Like, it was given to you, you chose to take it. I mean, and what more do you need? Like, what? And one of the quotes, this is a rough version, but this is about what they said. It was like, why should we take 5 years of research and use it against 2,000 years of history? And I think, I don't think it said it in the article that I read it from, but I think they were referring to when it comes to same-sex couples having kids, like being married and then being able to adopt children, like why, like 5 years of research that say like there's no difference, and then like 2,000 years of history where it's been a husband and wife raising kids. So, I think that's what it was referring to. That's my best guess. But at the same time, like, 5 years of history, I guess, saying that, or 5 years of research saying that marriage is okay, and 2,000 years of history saying it's not. But here's my grand point. This is the big argument that I was about to get to a minute ago. Why does anyone have an issue allowing, I'm just going to say 2 guys, for example, but 2 girls, obviously, getting married? Like, how does that affect you? Like, let's put you in your house with your wife. You're a guy with your wife, and you're in your house, and you have a kid. Maybe you have 2 kids. Maybe you have 3 kids. But you have a kid. You have children that share your DNA. You have that. And you're in your house, and you're watching TV. And you know, somewhere else in the state, or maybe even on your street, or maybe your neighbor, there's 2 guys living in a house together. And they have a piece of paper that says they're married. What did that do to your house, and your kids, and you watching TV right now? Nothing. Nothing happened to you, because I'm not saying that it's okay to do this. Like, obviously, I'm not saying to go do this, but if we lived in a country where, like, being gay at all, like, just the idea that you were gay, like, I think, like, Uganda does this, was completely illegal and, like, they'd kill you. Okay, I could see why being married would be, like, this big, crazy deal. But then again, you shouldn't be doing what you were doing anyway. But just, in this country, it's perfectly fine for you to live with another guy. If you want to live with whatever, like, you want to do stuff with it, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I have an issue if you're going to get married, because traditional marriage, like, let me just correct you. Traditionally, people had, like, 9 wives. Traditionally, it was not 1 man and 1 woman. Like, it was traditionally 1 man and many wives. Like, they didn't traditionally just meet with 1 and be done with it. And the tradition that you're referring to is based in religion. So that's not supposed to affect our laws. Like, I know it's impossible with religious people who practice religion, who are in position of government, who are in position to make these decisions. I know it's impossible for them to separate their, like, religious beliefs from their own, like, from their decision making, because no matter what, it's what they believe. You know? Like, I'm not saying that they go, well, the Bible says no, we can't do it. But they might not consciously do it, but if they think that, you know, well, you can't do this, it's because they believe that you can't, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not, they can't separate it. And it's not saying that they're horrible people for doing it. It's just, that's realities. If you regularly practice this thing that says this isn't okay, you're not going to then turn around and be like, well, yeah, it's okay because I'm not in my religious hat right now. Like, that's what you believe. But I don't understand how marriage affects anyone but the people who are married. Like, I've never understood, you know, if gay people get married, it's going to ruin my straight marriage. Like, how? Are you going to suddenly become gay and divorce your wife and leave? Like, I mean, straight marriages work out so well already. Like, they don't get divorced at all. Those are perfectly fine marriages. Straight parents are always great. Like, they're always great parents. There's no shitty straight parents anywhere. Like, nah, that's crazy. Like, straight parents who are shitty? No way. But, really? If we're taking religion out of it, which we're supposed to because it's the laws, and we're not talking about churches, we're talking about state and federal laws. If we're talking about that, then marriage should be defined as a union between 2 people. Plain and simple. Because when a Muslim girl and a Christian guy get married, the state and federal government don't go, no, you can't because you're not from the same religion. When 2 people who don't practice any religion at all get married, they don't go, no, you can't based on religion. So then, therefore, you can't use religion as your defense for why you say that you don't want gay people to get married. Marriage is between 2 people. Not just 2 guys, not just 2 girls, not a man and a woman, 2 people. Not 1 guy and many girls, not 3 girls, not 10 guys, 2 people. Doesn't matter where the parts are. Their race is not a factor. Their religion is not a factor. Nothing matters. but the fact that they are two adults who made the decision to get married. Like, there's just no other argument that makes any sense, because in no way does it affect anyone but the people who are married. And, I mean, Proposition 8's looking really rocky. Like, they're not going to make a good decision. They're going to make a decision. But it's not the, like, just end it now decision. Like, we're going to have to do this for another at least 10 years of arguing over this. And the stupid DOMA thing, I don't know. I think that one, because it affects benefits and money is involved in that one could possibly get twisted. And I feel like it'll be a harder decision for them, because God forbid the government had to give up money to people who deserve it. You know, it's just stupid. And I obviously support any marriage between anyone. I don't know if I'm going to get married. I haven't really thought about it. It's not, like, on my list of things to do. I must get married. But I'm not against it. Like, I'm not saying I'm never going to get married. So I'd like it to be an option. And yes, I live in Massachusetts and it's an option and fine. But what if I want to move, you know? I'd like to be able to move somewhere and get married. And obviously, like, civil union, people are like, well, aren't you happy? Why do you have to have... Because it's treating people differently over something stupid. That's like if you told, like, black people they couldn't get married, they could have a civil union, though. Like, that's being racist. You're just being ridiculous. Stop. Like, just let everyone have the same word for the same thing and treat everyone the same. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I guess you can leave your thoughts below, but if I don't like them, I'm going to remove them. Or maybe I'll leave them. I usually leave them when it comes to gay issues, because I go back to them to laugh at a later date. At your stupidity, really. But, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later, and maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow, and if any revelations come out. But if not, they're going to rule probably in June, and we'll talk about it then. So, bye, guys.